Hello and welcome to the program. You're watching B News Daily and the headlines for today.
The APEC Telecommunications and Information Working Group convened the 45th meeting in Da Nang City. ASEAN investors rank Vietnam as the second most attractive destination in the region. Vietnam, with a population of nearly 90 million, has become an attractive market for foreign airlines.
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng arrived at Jose Marti Airport in Havana in the evening of April 8th local time, beginning his official visit to Cuba.
Welcoming Vietnam's party leader and his delegation at the airport were Jose Ramon Balaguer, Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba's Central Committee and head of the Commission for External Affairs, and Victor Gauce, Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba's Central Committee, among others. Speaking to the local press at the airport, General Secretary Trọng expressed his joy at visiting Cuba, a country he described as beautiful and heroic. Despite being on the other side of the world, the mention of Cuba implies heroism, uprightness, an indomitable spirit, national freedom, socialism and internationalism to the Vietnamese people, said General Secretary Trọng. He affirmed that his visit underlies the Vietnamese people's solidarity and friendship with the Cuban people.
The APEC Telecommunications and Information Working Group convened the 45th meeting in the central city of Da Nang on April 9th. The meeting is to prepare documents for the 9th APEC ministerial meeting this August.
Addressing the opening session, Vietnamese Deputy Minister of Information and Communication Nguyễn Thành Hưng said, "The telecommunication and information technology sector is facing challenges in creating safe and reliable computer networks, building synchronous legal framework, and building staff capacity." The three-day meeting will focus on assessing the gap and challenges in terms of technique, technology, and capacity among APEC member economies, thus putting forward suitable solutions to each country. A number of seminars are to be held in the framework of the meeting on such highlights as internet security, competitive policies in telecommunication, and information technology for people with disabilities.
The National Assembly's Vice Chairwoman Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân chaired a spring economic forum in the central city of Da Nang. The forum aims to examine specific measures for economic restructuring.
At the two-day forum, which opened on April the 8th, experts discussed a roadmap for restructuring the national economy, focusing on public investment, the commercial banking system, and state-owned enterprises. They also gave recommendations on how to deal with other bottlenecks, such as labor resources, institutional reform, and economic thinking. Many economists stressed that restructuring should be regarded as the key approach to curbing inflation, which will help to stabilize the macroeconomy and revive businesses in a number of sectors, as well as preparing them for a new period of growth. The experts' suggestions will serve as reference material for National Assembly deputies in future meetings.
A recent survey of ASEAN Business Advisory Council has shown that regional investors rank Vietnam as the second most attractive destination in the region.
The survey was carried out among 405 businesses in the region. Half of them chose Indonesia, while 46% chose Vietnam as their top investment destination. Singapore, Thailand, and Malaysia followed, and at the bottom of the list are the Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Brunei. This is the second survey conducted by the ABAC since 2010. 1/4 of the respondents are operating in Indonesia, while 47% are doing business in Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, and the Philippines. ABAC survey also shows that ASEAN is more attractive than China in terms of commodity market and production location.
Vietnam, with a population of nearly 90 million, has become a potential and attractive market for foreign airlines. Let's see the details.
In 2011, 5 million international visitors traveled to Vietnam by air, an increase of 135% against the previous year. At the same time, the number of Vietnamese choosing to travel by air also increased rapidly, prompting domestic airlines to open new air routes and more international airlines to include Vietnam in the list of their destinations. Last year saw Qatar Airways, Turkish Airlines, Sichuan Airlines and several others launched direct flights to Vietnam. By the end of 2011, 51 foreign airlines operated 54 air routes from 22 countries and territories to the country. The opening of more air routes to Vietnam will open up cooperation and integration opportunities for businesses and create favorable conditions for tourists.
After going through an overheating period before 2010, the Vietnamese real estate market has deflated and now is in stagnation. Experts suggest that Vietnam can learn from the recovery in the U.S. real estate market, despite the many differences between them.
In 2007, the U.S. real estate market suffered badly due to the economic recession. However, a rapid recovery was brought about thanks to the government SAR policy as well as multi-million-dollar bailout packages.
The US government calmed the market by purchasing all the banks with bad debts. It also promised that it would provide loans to banks in difficulty so they could weather the economic storm.
In Vietnam, the real estate market has been frozen for some time as a consequence of surplus supply and overpricing. Both enterprises and banks are wrestling with the large amount of vacant properties on the market.
When the government introduces tighter monetary policies, businesses are unable to access loans from the banks, and when the public loses confidence in the market, this leads to an immediate drop in sales. It makes it even harder for businesses to access capital.
In fact, the credit system has a huge influence on the real estate market in Vietnam. In addition, large sums of money are being withheld by the public, so this financial source is not entering the market due to investors waiting for further price cuts. Limiting real estate loans is also causing difficulties for investors.
What is really needed is tightening up spending on real estate to avoid creating a property bubble. This is also a way of lowering prices. However, our policies have gone a little too far, and this is causing difficulties for the market.
Despite the differences between the US and Vietnamese economies, Vietnamese businesses should learn from the US market as it works on a more long-term basis. While waiting for the bank's response to interest rate changes, businesses need to keep calm and assess strengths in the market to enable them to make the right investment decisions.
As part of the ongoing Huế Festival, the Nam Giao offering ritual took place on April 8th to honor the sky and the earth and pray for favorable weather, prosperity, and peace to the nation. This was one of the most important tradition rites under the Nguyen dynasty.
This year's ceremony began at 8 p.m. with a procession of 34 votive tablets from Chai Kung Fasting Palace to the Nam Giao Esplanade, with the involvement of over 1,000 people in traditional royal costumes. Since it was first reenacted in 2002, after many years falling into oblivion, the Nam Giao offering ritual has become a highlight of the biannual Huế Festival. The Nam Giao Esplanade, an open-air platform, was built in Dương Xuân village, south of the Huế Citadel, in 1806. It included 3 tiers. The top tier was round as a symbol of the sky, while the 2 below were square to symbolize the earth and man. The Nguyen dynasty often organized this ritual in mid-February. The king or the top mandarin was the officiating priest.
We've covered all the stories for today. Please tune back in tomorrow for more.